Evening to you. These guys are all big influences on me and certainly house music.
Happy.
No, that does not sound like a life.
Walk around with that collar popped up.
Yeah.
Hey, do this.
Yeah.
You go there.
So let's go on that. I want to talk a little bit about each of your illustrious careers, because you guys have done a lot. All three of you have done amazing, have had amazing contributions to what we call house music. This is the Vintage House Show. And so part of what that is about is celebration and preservation. This is Lawrence framing, but the celebration and preservation of Chicago house legends and Chicago house music. And I think
Hey, it's your main man, Kevin Mega McFall, here with another episode of the Vintage House Show, the world's premier show covering the history, the business, the culture, and the music that is house music. So if you are a fan, and if you're tuned into the show, we know you are, this show is for you. And of course, we always bring you intriguing, compelling guests with their first person stories about how they came to know house, how they came to contribute to house, and how house for them is more than a feeling. And tonight's guest is going to help us celebrate Women's History Month, as March of every year is that. And of course, women play an important part in the history, business, and culture of house music. And so I am honored, I'm ecstatic and excited to bring one of Chicago's, and probably uh, outside of Chicago, a renowned DJ. She happens to be a woman, a lady. In fact, she goes by the name of DJ LadiiBug. So let's bring her on camera. What's up, LadiiBug?
Hello, Kevin. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, man.
And on behalf of the entire Vintage House crew, thanks for joining us on this episode of the Vintage House Show. How have you been?
I'm good. I'm excited. Women's Month is one of the premier months that I get a chance to, showcase my talent, and so it just really has been exciting, to say the least, over the years.
Well, I'm glad that it offers you an opportunity for this month in particular, but hoping that your ability to play and perform is year round, as they say, like with Black History Month, right? Black History is all year long, and I'm sure the same for Women's History. It's all year long, 24/7, 365.
Yes, it is.
Great. Well, Chicago is your birthplace?
It is.
Music? Yes.
Born and raised.
What
Chicago.
part of town?
South Side.
South Side.
Yes.
Stand up. And of course, we always get excited about our high school origin stories. So tell us where you attended high school.
I attended Calumet High School.
Calumet, stand up.
Yes, I am an Indian.
Calumet Indians. All right. I'm trying to remember. Okay, you're gonna have to do some geography to name other DJs from Calumet that are also in your renowned category? Who else from Calumet can you think of?
Amazing. I don't know any actual like professional DJs that came from there, but I do know that Shaka Khan used to attend Calumet. Yeah.
Hey, there's the
Is
music
one
connection.
that she is one, and then there are other artists that are there, and unfortunately, I was never into. When we go into my story, I'll tell you why. But
Okay.
but I am, I'm not sure of professionally. I do know that there are other people that I graduated with, or other gentlemen and women who over the years learned how to be professional DJs over the years. And so since I've been in the game, I've ran into a lot of them. And so they've said that they become DJs and they've been doing it for a long time. So yeah, so it's exciting to learn and to know who's a part of the community. Yeah.
I, I like that. Community is important. Certainly, Chicago's house music community has been thriving as of late. Last year, we celebrated 40 years of
Yes.
house record release, and here we are marching toward 50. And community is what it's all about in terms of coming together and supporting one another, ensuring that the genre is thriving. And so, talk about you use the term professional DJ. I like that because it does define and ensures there's some distinction between someone who might do this as a hobby, or sometimes we call them bedroom DJs or whatever the
Right.
case, and someone who is a professional who has earned part or all of their living by DJing. Talk about what being a professional DJ means to you.
Being a professional DJ to me mainly describes the integrity behind what you do. You can make the money, you can have the brand yourself, you can do all of those things, but if there is no character, it's about the character and the integral part of being in this profession too. A professional is all around. It's a whole all around thing with their personality, how they carry themselves in business, as well as how they are off camera, how they are behind the decks and the control, whatever they play on, or it's just all around professional, how they handle business, how they carry themselves. To me, it's important how you present yourself. Perception is important. So you have to be able to operate this way because people are always watching you. So you have to maintain some sort of like, you know, some sort of dignity, character, how you handle business, how you come around people, how you speak. A lot of that. It's not just contracts and money, but it is about how you handle yourself as well.
I appreciate that's a rich perspective, and it brings me to another question in terms of you booking or being booked to perform. Do you do that yourself? Do you have a agent or a manager or someone that represents you? How does that work for you?
In the beginning, I was doing it myself. A lot of times, growing up in it, I did not know the professional side. So I was, anytime somebody asked me to play, I would just say, hey, call me, hit me in the messenger on the mailbox, then, or call me or text me. But that's how so in the beginning, I did it myself.
Okay.
Then I connected with who I'm with now, my internal affairs family, my partner. He became like my manager towards the end or towards now these years that I'm in it, and he taught me some things about what I should do, how I should handle myself. It's like more so of a way of thinking and upgrade. I'm gonna say that he upgraded me. I'm gonna
Okay.
say on the professional side.
I love it.
So certain things that I will say that that I've learned by bumps and bruises.
The School of Hard Knocks, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because this is a tough game out here, and definitely doing it yourself and being a woman. That means another thing too. So, so I've done it on my own, and I've had other people to help me. So yes,
Well, again, it comes back to that theme of community. It's important, and having a team in particular helps elevate what we do. Certainly thankful for the team that I have, both personally and professionally. So I'm glad to hear that you got a good team
yes,
your
I
corner
do.
as well. But I'm curious, how did you even become a DJ, and then specifically, how did you come to house music? Because that those are two different things. You could be a DJ
Yes.
broadly, or you can really dedicate to the craft of elevating people through house music. What's your story?
Back in 2015, I was at Olive Harvey College. I'm going to say 2014, 2015, 2014. And I took a music and appreciation class. And in this class, we had to do projects, we had to do papers. And so I was in this class and I had to do a group project. And so we had to pull from a hat what type of genre that we had to work with. So I pulled out the hat house music. And so when I was like, oh, I know this. This is in the bag. I know about house music. Mm-mm. I thought house music was the lounges, certain type of music. I mean, when I did my research, I come to find out that house music is all over the world. I discovered about Black Coffee. I discovered about his artists and even South African house music. And there were DJs in France and all over the world. And so I was amazed at how I didn't know this. I didn't know nothing about this. So I did the paper, got an A on it, and fell in love with this thing we call house. And so from there, I was chasing, trying to figure out who's where I can go, who I can be around, who I can meet that's into this house scene. I'm gonna tell you, I was a babe. I didn't know anything about it. So
Okay.
this is like, so I didn't know anything about house. But when I heard it, I fell in love with it the first time I heard it. And so I said, so okay, let me see. And I went to, and then in 2015, I met my husband. He's a DJ. And so when I met him, he, kind of like was telling me about, I saw his similarity of music, his ear for music. And so he liked the music that I discovered in my music appreciation class. So he liked South African house. I'm into the beats. I'm into deep beats and tribal music, tribal drums. I'm into all of that. And so when he started to introduce me, we started going to different places and different places like Reynolds and places like Leo's Den back then and the House Spot and all of these different places. And I was being introduced to and I was loving it. And so
What? Wait. What exactly did you love about it? I mean, because the music is love and unity, and some of those venues that you just put out there are small, intimate venues. But what was it specifically that grabbed you?
the underground feel. I love underground. I love it. I like the feel of the underground. I'm the intimate part. That's what I fell in love mostly with. And everybody was dancing and everybody was vibing and everybody, It wasn't no violence. It wasn't no, you could just enjoy yourself. Everybody was having a good time, and I said, wow, I could get used to this, and I'm a dancer. So I love to dance. So before I became a DJ, I was a dancer. So I always stayed on the floor and danced and everything while I was, going to these parties. And then one day we had some equipment and I got behind this equipment and I did my first blend. And from then I was hooked and I became who I am right now, DJ LadiiBug.
Who has graced us with an appearance on the Vintage House Show. By the way, we're celebrating our 10th anniversary with the Vintage House Show. So it was about 2015 for us as well when we kicked off the show on WNUR in Evanston. And so we're coming up in this thing
together. Yes.
So I like that description of what it was specifically that grabbed you. But I'm gonna and I also appreciate that you declared you were a dancer first because that's important. So there's a couple of things I want to unpack there. The first is, what do you think that connection is between the dancer and the DJ? How would you describe that?
As being a dancer, I'm a person that wants to hear music that's going to keep me moving all night. So the connection between the DJ and the dancer is that the DJ have to pay attention to the dancers. They have to pay attention to what they like. This is what I've learned over the years as an up and coming DJ. So the first thing is, how will I play music that's going to appeal to my audience? And so because I am a dancer, I'm going to play what's going to make me dance. So whatever I feel like makes me dance should make the other ones dance too. That's how I felt. But we have to have a connection between the two. It has to be a connection.
Yes, I agree with that, but also appreciate your perspective on what that connection, looks like, how it exists when a DJ has command of the dance floor, or the other way around when the dancer has command of the dance floor. Because if they're not vibing, then there is no command going on.
And it feels and it makes you feel like, okay, as a DJ, when you don't see people dancing, you try to like, okay, what am I doing? And then as a dancer, you'll say, well, what is the DJ doing? Like, why is he? So it's like, wait a minute. So so the dancer is thinking about the DJ and the DJ is thinking about the dancer. So so it's a twofold thing. I think that and then it explains the passion behind it, the music.
Yeah.
A dancer can tell when there's passion behind it. Anyone can tell that you have a passion for something.
Yes.
When you can feel it. I think the first DJ that I gotta say that blew me away.
Tell us who it is.
It was Tony T.
Tony
T from Reynolds. And I'm serious. He was the opening DJ. And he would come on at 8 or 9 o'clock, gotta be real. And he would play this music that was fantastic. And I would say, oh my God, who is this guy? Like, and one night I came walking into Reynolds one Tuesday night, and it was this song that was playing. Now, I never really fully stayed all the way when Mike came, because Mike came in there around 11:30, 12 o'clock. And so I said, okay. But one day I stayed and Mike played this one song and I fell in love. So I became I appreciated Mike Dunn too. So both of them two folds. And
Tony T, Mike Dunn, shout
then
out.
Mike Dunn, shout out to Mike Dunn. Just had a birthday. Happy birthday, Mike.
Birthday
So,
week. It was like parties galore.
and he just really, him and Tony T, tag team, they were both great at Reynolds. And then I started discovering others.
Yes.
And then I found out about the female DJs. And so it's like he was my first. And then I started finding out who these female DJs were from.
Who were some of the first female
mm,
DJs that you heard that inspired or
it
uh,
was, yeah, it to
influenced?
name a few, Angie Stone, Rest in
R.I.P.
peace.
Angie.
All right, yep. Alicia, DJ Alicia,
Alicia. Okay.
Celeste,
Celeste Alexander.
Celeste Alexander. Um, and then I those are the three that I heard, and I said, "Oh my! If they can keep me on the floor all night, they're good." And so, and I'm telling you, if a dancer could keep me on the floor all night, they're good. So,
Okay.
so that's what they did, and they had this thump, this hardcore behind them, this beat, it was just I loved it, and so it inspired me to want to become a DJ. And I never turn I haven't turned back ever. I mean, hey, the rest is history.
All right. As they say, yeah, the rest is history. But
Right.
I I want to dig into some of that history a little more. In particular, venues in Chicago. You listed several that you went to as a patron, if you will, before you were spending there, and then you talked about how to elevate getting to perform at other uh, venues. Talk about some of the places you played in, or dream of playing in, or even those that you've had a difficult time getting booked at.
Mm.
Want to hear about that again, because the we all know the real reality is that this has historically certainly been a male dominated um, craft, and men still dominate the lineup
Yeah.
when you get these multiple DJ lineups. There's been some change in progress, which is good, but talk about some of those difficulties and the breakthroughs that you've had along the way.
I started off in like a lot of lounges, or I'm gonna say basement parties. Let's say that. I've connected with different crews, underground. That's where I came from underground mainly. Um, and coming out from the underground, I should say, these backyard basement parties, coming into learning and building my craft. I started in my living room online on Facebook. That's how LadiiBug really got out there. And then I started going, as I was going to the parties, I noticed that it's not as easy to, get in these places if you don't know anyone. I'm gonna say that. Um, you have to prove yourself. Okay. And so a lot of times, if they don't know you, they're not gonna book you. But um, I started out, I played at the Queens of House Picnic twice. I've played at Leo's Den for Queens of House twice. I've played at a lot of the like bars, like I say, Club Bavoo. I played at the Family Den before for Queens of House. I've played at different lounges mainly. Um, I've played for Late Nocturne before. I had my own showcase with Ron Carroll there. I've played, wow. Um, I played at Reynolds, but I
Okay.
played there. for different promoters. I've played for at Renaissance for Reggie Corner before. I've played West Side. I've played North Side. So it's been quite a few places. One, I played for Rhonda Flowers at a
Mm,
few of her picnics at the Pier 31 and a couple of other places over the summer. I've played at picnics mainly. But when I would say, where would I like to play?
yes.
Hey, I would love to play at the Smart Bar.
Okay.
Love to play at some for premier, in some premier areas. I mean, like it's really like where I know that there is a multicultural crowd,
Yes.
more so that will have love for the music. It's really been it's quite a few different places I would like to go.
How would you treat that crowd? The when you specifically called out multicultural. So house is a global genre, but there is a level of house that a lot of people play to that's very soulful and deep and groovy.
Yeah.
Not suggesting that a multicultural audience couldn't adapt to that, but that's probably not exactly where you would spend your entire set. Talk about how you would approach spinning for a multicultural crowd. And I want to ask, and I know you're anxious to answer this question. I want to ask about musical genres because, I mean, subgenres of house music and where you like to, you know, really get groovy.
Well, I've played for this club with at Pot Lacey Club. It's on the north side.
Okay.
I've played with that particular party with Mr. CBO, also known as Glenn Underground, and I played with Immaculate. And this crowd was multicultural. They definitely are into soul music. You would be surprised at how many people love soul music. And so, but there is music that I have in my hard drive or different music that I have that would cater to that audience. And so you just have to read the room when you get to those type of parties, and you just have to be able to discern. I'm gonna use that word, to be able to discern what's there, to
Yeah.
be able to know exactly like feel the room, feel the temperature of the room to know exactly what to play. So I think that it really depends on what's in your music library.
Yeah.
You have to know exactly your music. It's important to know your music in order to cater to those crowds. And so I do have one day I will folder with music and cater to that particular crowd. So I would say that genre is more so like I ain't gonna say EDM, but it's more a high tempo music, that kind of music that will keep them cool, but as well as bring a little bit of me of soul in it. I'm a soulful DJ. I like soulful house music.
Okay.
I'm into soulful music. I think all music has soul in it. So I mean, the soul is in the music, and
Okay.
so, but I love soulful house. I'm more of a 123. That's my BPM.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm not a high energy, type of DJ where I'm gonna have you jumping all over the place. But I love like soulful music, Afro house.
Yeah.
I love R&B edits. I like edits. I like edits, remakes. Um, I will say that I will play other music like I will play a up tempo, high speed music. I like jazz. I'm a jazz person.
Yeah.
I love jazz. Yes, I do. And so I would play like a contemporary jazz track. I would say that Glenn, he plays a lot of jazz.
Hmm.
Vic Lavender, he makes music like that as well.
Yeah.
It's and so I listen to a ton of different DJs that's in the city, and it's a lot of producers who I support. So it's like I will play a lot of different kind. That's why I call myself the eclectic DJ, because I play a lot of different styles of house.
So I blew this interview already because at the beginning I should have asked you the question, how did you get your name? And so, I heard this maybe sub uh what they call you sometimes, the eclectic DJ, but how did you come to be Ladybug?
Uh, that's funny because I was sitting home and I'm playing my music, and my guys at the time, I was with this crew. I've
Mm.
always been the only female in the crew.
Okay.
So it's like, but I was with these DJs
Breaking
and they were all telling,
barriers.
huh?
I said breaking barriers.
Right. And so they would ask, we were all trying to come up with a name for me. And I was like, well, and I'm listening. I'm like, I don't care for that too much. And then so they was coming up with these names. And then my husband came home and he told me, he said, guess what I want to name? I think your name should be. And I said, what? He said, Ladybug. And I said, I said, I got a ring to it. I said, so how would we spell it? And he said, not with the Y. He said, with two I's. And I said, I said, that's different. And so from that point, when I put my name out there, everyone started, it's just like caught fire real fast. Like
I love it.
it caught it. Everybody was like, hey Ladybug, hey Ladybug, hey Ladybug, or now they call me Bug. They don't call me Ladybug.
Of
They
course,
call me Bug.
everything.
My close friends call me Bug.
Yeah.
So yes, and I came up with the eclectic DJ because one day, Nikki Divine, I don't know, Nikki Divine,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, of course.
Yes,
All
of
friends.
course, of course.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
sisters in the craft. One day we were talking and she was like, Ladybug, she said, you have such an eclectic sound.
Nice.
And I said, really? I said, you think so? She was like, yeah. She's like, you play everything. Like you play a little bit of this and that. And so I said, okay. And I was developing my Twitch name and I was trying to build my streaming. And so we have to come up with these names on
Yes.
Twitch. And so I was sitting here and it came to me, it said Ladybug, the eclectic DJ. And that has been my name since. And so that's who,
It's
so
cool.
I have to say that I've had some people help me a lot through this career. Like, I mean, I will say that it is a village and people really, helped me develop her. Because one and the same. We're one and the same, but
Yeah. Yeah.
separate Ladybug and Latanya. So but yeah, and so I would say that it's really been just a great journey to develop her because she's learned a lot throughout this her life or this 10-year span as a DJ. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I and so I think it's important to call out Mr. Ladybug. For lack of a better
yeah,
term, because he has certainly helped you along the way. It sounds like a very creative um, gentleman as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
Someone else that sounds like they've been important, and I'm gonna call them out. Also, a friend of the Vintage House Show, Nakia Soulcat, since you said you played on behalf of Queens of House
yeah,
several times, and she's been on the show a couple of times. Uh, Certainly, as the founder of Queens of House Picnic, talk
yes.
about what that experience. Why is that important for you to be part of that collective and that lineup?
because it gives us a chance to display us. I mean, there is no it gives me a chance to be me. I think that she doesn't restrict the females to play. Like she say, do you be yourself? And I think that being a part of that platform means a lot to us as DJs because it's no disrespect to the men, but there is no men. And so, because that is the case, it gives us that time to shine and display our talent. And so, I think it's important. And I'm glad that, that she was given this idea to do it. And so, it really means a lot. And so, it means it gives us an opportunity as women to, or myself, to be able to show what I can play and show my range. I mean, and show who I am as how I contribute to this community. Yeah,
That's so important. Without people like you and the Kia and others contributing, right? We wouldn't be moving forward.
right.
And so I that is an important statement you make. I I also want to get your perspective a little bit on the technical aspects of the craft. We talked a little bit about this in our pre-production
Yeah.
discussion, but share with the audience, like, what's your preference? Have you spun on vinyl and turntables? Do you prefer decks, CDJ, or Denon controllers, or
Yeah.
what? Talk a little bit about how you hone your craft and how you perform.
I started off on a controller
Hmm.
with a laptop,
Okay.
and then
What
I
software were you
so
using?
I started off from I'm gonna say I started backwards for it. Like so, I started from the controller. Then I went to Dex, and how that happened is because a lot of the DJs would say, "Ladybug, if you want to make it in the industry, you're gonna have to learn to play on the Dex." And I said,
Why
"Oh,
do you think they told you that? What was the belief associated?
because a lot of places, excuse me, a lot of places they didn't accept controllers.
Hmm.
A lot of places don't accept
The
it.
venues,
Lot-
the
lot-
clubs, the
Yeah, the clubs, the different venues, their setups wasn't for controllers. I mean, and for real, they were not.
yeah,
So every time I went to a party, I would look at the DJ booth, and that's what was there,
mhm,
CDJs. And so I got me a practice set.
okay,
Someone kind of like hooked me up, gave me some decks and an old controller and decks, and I practiced.
yeah,
And so then I got my own setup, and then I've played on pretty much every mixer there
yes.
is, from controller to the
Accessories,
rotary
knobs.
knobs. I love knobs. I love it. I've played on. I prefer Pioneer. I got to be honest. I do love for the Pioneer setup. I love those. Now that they have controllers where you can put your thumb drives in, they have the screen now, and
Yes,
so though that's a controller that I prefer. Um, Turntables. Hi. Um, Vinyl is a little bit. You have to have a lot of patience for that. And I mean, and I hats off to all of those vinyl players because I grew up around vinyl, but I saw my parents play records. I played on the record player, but I did not play like they are playing. And so you have to really know your music to become a vinyl player and really know where the breaks are and all of those things. So I'm like, I'm not. I can do it, but it's like I haven't really mastered that. And one of the things that I've learned doing this is that you have to you have to master one thing first. And if you master that, then you should move forward. And so I took that advice and I ran with that. And so I mastered the controller, I mastered the CDJs, and I stayed there. I didn't go into the vinyl. Do I want to learn? Yes,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
did.
I appreciate your honesty and your courage, because often DJs, while we're a community, we're a strong-minded, strong-willed community, and we'll ridicule people for the smallest things, like
Yes.
do you use a sync button, or do you
Oh no.
buy your um, do you buy your uh, digital files from legitimate sources, and do you um, share music? All of these things are subject, and I'm not asking you,
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm willing to share. Yeah,
but
willing to share it.
it is for the love of the craft. I think that ridicule exists. Now, I started out on vinyl. I have a
I
pair of
see you play. Okay.
well, yeah, I don't talk about it much because
Oh,
I retire. But uh, the the time I spent, this is just anecdotal. The time I spent studying the grooves of the vinyl records to know where the breaks were. That was a lot of time. I had more time on my hands back
mm,
then. I was a DJ at the University of Illinois,
nice.
where that's where I started spinning. And I tell you, my grades would be a lot better had I studied more from the books than I did the vinyl. But
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. Vinyl is a different animal. Digital has certainly lowered the barrier to entry, and I'm glad to see the craft of DJing flourish. I think partly as a result of now both mediums being available to people.
I think your sound. Okay, something happened to the sound.
Okay, and people
Okay, there.
stretching out their skills to ensure that they have a place here in the community, as we say.
I want to say this real quick.
Please.
Although it may seem as though that when I say about vinyl and learning the music, you have to learn your music even in digital. You have to sit and learn your music. Again, I will say that I've learned a lot from a lot of people over the years that I've been playing. And one of the best advices that I heard was, LadiiBug, you can play, you got a good ear for music, but if you would just sit and listen and study your music, you will be even better. And so what I learned, I said, okay, so as I started buying, as you mentioned, buying the music, I buy my music. I buy from Track Source and Bandcamp. I buy from those type of. Then I've had DJs give me music. Those who create tracks and they will give me music. It's very important to study even digital music. You have to study what's in your hard drive in order to know where the breaks are, and so that was one of the best advices I could get as
Great.
coming up and coming,
Yeah.
because you can tell when you don't do that. And when you ask the question about syncing, I love to blend.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
It,
blends matter. They do matter.
they do, blends matter, and you actually jumped the shark and actually was a great segue to one of the questions I wanted to start wrapping up with, which is, what would your advice be to up and coming female DJ, or any DJ for that matter, that's tuned in, that is inspired by your story? What advice would you give them?
The advice I would give to an up and coming DJ is be yourself. Make sure you study your music. Find the right crowd to be around. I want to say that you're nothing without a community, and when I say that, a personal community, I mean it's best to be around those who support you. It's best to be yourself, I should say again, and to study your music, buy your music. Make sure that even if you don't buy it, if you're buying it, you're getting it from someone who is purchasing it, or they give it to you, then, make sure you listen to it first before you play it, because it's really important, because they could give you a bad file. Be patient.
Yes.
Be patient. Don't come into the craft saying that, okay, why do you want to be a DJ? Oh, because I love music. Okay, everyone loves music. But you have to know your why. You have
what
to
is
know
your
reason.
What is your why?
What is your why of why you want to be a part?
No, I'm asking you, what is your why?
Oh, my why.
Great advice, by the way.
All my life I've been around music, and as a kid I was playing records, and as I was coming up, I've always wanted to be a hip hop DJ. And so I was into hip hop and all different type of music, and throughout my years I was playing music. I was playing them and playing music in my home, playing for my parents' parties and things like that. And so as I got older, I wanted to be this DJ. I wanted to be this hip hop DJ. but as I learned over the years, I thought it was I went to college. I thought I was gonna go be a DJ in college and things like that. And so it's my passion for it. I have a passion for music. I love the sound of harmony. So I like to harmonize, and I like to hear, I was in choirs. So I hear, the
spiritual origins. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have a lot of rich origin and history in music. And so from bands to choirs to all type of things. And so I've been in this. And so just to put the icing on the cake is I became a DJ. Okay. And so that's why I say that you have to have a why. You have to have a passion. Some people just, like you said, bedroom and not pre bedroom DJs, and so I mean there are ones just doing it because they feel like it's easy. Mm-hmm. You have the, people can tell when you love it, and they can tell you when you don't. And so you just have to know your why. And that was my why, because I've been in it forever, and I've been doing it music forever.
I am again very appreciative of your honesty and transparency about your why, your advice, how you got started. I also want to know, just if you have the opportunity to pick one woman, one female, one lady that has been the greatest inspiration to you. She doesn't have to be a DJ or in music, or it could be someone in your family or in history. But this being Women's History Month, I would love it if you can tell me what woman has inspired you the most.
That's a hard question.
We don't make it easy. We just said that, right?
Because you don't. I mean, you kind of like gave me some easy questions, but I know
Threw some
you could have
softballs
gave
out
me some.
there,
You
man.
gave me some soft questions.
Yeah.
Wow, that is
Just
a
take a moment to think about that,
yeah.
because
Give me a moment to
you,
think about
you
that.
know it's a some say it's a woman's world, or women rule the world, all of those things, and women are certainly um, just critical
Yeah.
to this world and this life. And so again, we go beyond Women's History Month to try to honor and celebrate women.
Yeah.
And just curious about your influence and inspiration.
Okay, so a lot of my I'm a spiritual woman. Um and I have a lot of great counsel, and I want to say that. And so a lot of my counsel is women, are women. Um I'm in the church, as well as um even in this, like my closest friends, I have some, and um I would say in regards to who I would work with, who I actually absolutely love to work with, is Lady D. I think she's such a well-rounded individual when it comes to this music. I really think that she will be somebody who I would love to work with. She's an inspiration. I like the way she stands for her culture. I like the way she loves to. She stands for what she believes in, and so and she's not ashamed of that. She's a pillar in this Chicago, and she's a pillar not just in Chicago but around the world. But
Yes.
I love Lady D. I like the way she
Okay.
carry herself. Yeah, so she's one of the female DJs I would say that I look up to. Yes.
Big ups to DJ Lady D, another great friend of the Vintage House Show, indeed, and a friend of many in the community. And
Yeah.
so there's no surprise why she would be an
Yeah.
inspiration, indeed. She has definitely continued to contribute in a significant way to house music on a global scale, for sure. Um, so it is that time in the show where we must conclude what has been an amazingly engaging
Oh.
discussion. But as we wrap, I want to give you the opportunity to invite our audience to follow or check you out wherever you may be performing, or online where you've got your mixes uploaded, or how can people follow LadiiBug?
So you can follow me on twitch.com. Yes. Under House Nation Music. I play every first Saturday, my show, every first Saturday of the month at 12 noon Central Standard Time. And it's on the House Nation Music. I play once a month, and my crew, Internal Affairs, shout out to my family. Internal Affairs, we play every Saturday on there. And so that's where you can catch me on Saturdays. Also, I have a SoundCloud page, and I do have a Mixcloud page. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't upload a lot of my music, so my recordings. So you can always catch me. I do have streaming. You can catch me on Facebook and Instagram. I'm on all social media platforms, but mainly you can catch me on Twitch. And also, I am playing this Saturday at this place called Bar Lorraine's, real quick, and I will be playing with Zora Murphy, playing with Vita Girl, Yes.
Okay, VD Girl and Zora are both
Or
friends of the Vintage House Show.
And also this up and coming young lady, she plays well. Her name is DJ Yana. We're playing for Women's Month, so we're ending it on Saturday. It's at Bar Lorraine's, and so we're playing there. And from there, you can just catch me, right, like I said, on social media, on Twitch.
One more time for the people in the back. What's the name of the venue, and do you have an address?
Yes, I do. Let me look real quickly for the people in the back. It is at Bar Lorraine's on Saturday. I'm sorry that I don't have this up. I apologize real quickly. Let me get there. Okay. It is on 8858 South Ashland.
Hey.
And it's in Chicago from 8 to 1. There is a fee. It's from 8 to 1 in the morning. It's DJ Yana, Control Zora, Vita Girl, and myself. And we are playing this Saturday to end and culminate the Women's Month. Yes.
Nice lineup indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in thanking LadiiBug for joining us on this episode of the Vintage House Show.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. We encourage everyone tuned in to check you out this Saturday and on all of the respective social channels, including twitch.tv. DJ LadiiBug in the house.
Woo! Thank you. Right. Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, no, thank you for joining me, and happy Women's History Month to you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Hats off to all the women. Woo!
All right, shout out to the Vintage House crew, my partners in this venture, DJ Lori Branch, co-host, and our executive producer, Lauren Lowry.
Yeah, Lauren. I like them both too.
All right. That is a good thing. And our Vintage House Spotlight team, DJ Momami and DJ Rocky Floyd.
Rocky. Oh, that's right.
Tune in to the Vintage House Show every Wednesday night, right here on your socials, including twitch.tv, YouTube, Facebook, twitch.tv/the Vintage House Show. And wherever you download your favorite podcast, this episode will be there soon. So make sure you tell all your friends, LadiiBug, check us out. Yes. Vintage House Show, the world's premier show covering the history, business, and culture of house music. We're out. And remember, house is a feeling.